Spoiler alert, I'm talking about some of the leaked Mega Evolutions, specifically some of the ones that Pokemon themselves hinted at in the most recent Pokemon Legends ZA trailer. It had quite a few fun little scenes that meant more for those in the know. They are absolutely hinting at which Pokemon are getting new Megas, especially since the trailer is all about that. And I want to show you that and then talk a bit about why those Pokemon likely have Megas now, from a more design origin perspective. So first, a little overview. While not all, most of the Pokemon in this trailer have Mega Evolutions, and quite a lot of the ones that don't do, actually, according to the leaks. I'll link PokeOS, or Pokeos, which has a good overview of the leaks, but said leaks were basically more and more confirmed with each new Mega reveal because they very accurately described them. And in this trailer, we have more fun nods to leaked Mon. Let's specifically look at the fights we see the protagonist get into. Medicham, who has a Mega, versus Staryu. Mega Starmie is in the leaks. Numel, Camerupt has a Mega, versus Binacle. Mega Barbaracle is in the leaks. Manectric versus Shuppet. Both have Megas after Shuppet evolves. Meditite versus Tepig. Mega Medicham, of course, and all of this game's starters are included in the leak. They really couldn't not, you know? Then there's a bunch of Mega versus Mega fights, and this clip of the trainer having 4 Pokemon with known Megas, one that's in the leaks, Dragalge, and a Dedenne. Maybe Dedenne will join Raichu with a Mega in Mega Dimensions, which the leak doesn't touch at all. But also, most of the Colossian Pokemon in this trailer don't, and are likely here more so for flavor reasons. This is their native home after all, and just how often are Fletchling and Furfrou used in establishing shots, you know? They and Dedenne are basically the mascots of Kalos, and that would explain the next scene. A 4-way battle. Abomasnow has a Mega, Trevenant and Gourgeist don't, but they are native Colossian, only leaving Chandelure, who is in the leaks. So I just want to talk about why that is so perfect right after I talk about this. This video is sponsored by Big One's PC Switch and mobile controller, the Blitz 2 Pro, the first professional controller with a 2000 Hz polling rate, both wired and wireless. What that means is your controller and game will be communicating at top-of-the-line speeds. I have the TMR version here, and gotta say, right out of the box, I am honestly impressed, especially since I had never even heard of this brand before. The TMR tech in the sticks gives them 4 to 6 times the precision that ordinary Hall joysticks have, and they physically feel extra reactive or clicky, if that makes sense. But I especially appreciate how all the main buttons are mechanical with esports level response speed. Oh yes, and that true pro gamer coating, by which I mean the rubberized grip and stick tops. This coating renders your sweaty hands no more than a mere inconvenience on your end, rather than a game-ruining disaster. And it's got your classic fancy controller options, turbo, button remapping, and programmable macro controls. With Pokemon Legends ZA's combat going more action-focused, and there being competitive online exclusive rewards, maybe it's time to upgrade your gaming to its peak potential with the Blitz 2 Pro. There's a link at the top of this video's description, and big thanks to Big One for supporting our content. So why would Chandelure get a Mega Evolution now in Lumio City? Well, because the French love their decadence. Chandelure is already a super fancy chandelier, but historically the French always took chandeliers to their ultimate extreme. I mean, look at the chandeliers at the Palace of Versailles, the palace where the French royals lived and died. So really, you just take Chandelure and make it as over-the-top ornate and fancy as you can. Multiple layers, way more candles, easy Mega design. And that's basically what you do to a Barbaracle too. Just overcomplicate the heck out of it, adding more and more gooseneck barnacles, a French delicacy. Actually, I highly recommend checking out our Barbaracle video. Trust me, it's deep. And a way cool Pokemon design, even if it's ugly. It's ugly on purpose, at least. Barbarians, of course, have their own design motifs, and a Mega Barbaracle could gain elements resembling stereotypical barbarian chiefs. Though, the leak mentions the hand face is in a rock-on pose. You know, the classic devil horns. It could be a reference to big barbarian or Viking helmets with huge horns, but it could also just be a reference to the hand sign itself, which, like the Hamsa they already referenced, is a hand sign with many meanings in various religions and cultures. But around the Mediterranean specifically, it was a gesture that acted as a ward against the evil eye, which has lots of connections to the Hamsa already, which just shows shows how deep and true this likely is. Watch Barbaracle's video for more. Dragalge, who is native to Kalos, I'll definitely need to do more research on for a proper design delve, especially since leafy and weedy sea dragons are Australian, not French. But I can't help but think about the famous oceanographer Jacques Cousteau, who also co-invented the aqua lung, the first successful modern scuba system. Sea dragons are one of those elusive ocean dwellers that oceanographers love to find. And Lassapide, this dude, he was a Frenchman who helped write one of the most prominent natural history encyclopedias in history and discovered the weedy sea dragon. Notably, in being a messy, complex design, on purpose mind you, it would follow the same mega design as the earlier Barbaracle and Chandelure. Funny that they would hint at all of these at the same time. I'd imagine a mega would simply have even more and bigger kelp, like leaves and appendages and such. The artwork used by Pokeos.com by fan artist Cardinal follows the description in the leak, which is definitely peculiar. The draping bits on the back definitely feel like complete Zygarde's cape. I'm definitely curious how intentional that is. And Starmie! You know, it also is a bit of a complicated mess of limbs and stuff. Definitely funny that they'd hint all of these four in the same trailer. Starfish and sunstars live all across the ocean and seas, the Mediterranean included, and the leaked description basically just says it's more purple and has longer legs to run with. But it being owned by Lita the dancer, I wonder if it's intended to dance a lot too. The line has always done dramatic poses and make Super Sentai sounds in the anime, which may play a role here in this mega too. Most of the fan speculation I've seen make most of the legs a bit longer, but just two of them significantly more so, making it a bit more humanoid, which would sort of fit its alien origins. Definitely see our in-depth video about Staryu and Starmie, because they too are pretty culturally deep. Starfish aliens, starfish sentai, starfish tropes. But in being so heavily linked to space already, and hear me out on this, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Do you think that Mega Starmie, having just